You're about to try to fix your life. I know, because you clicked this video. Maybe you've already got the plan. Wake up earlier, get to the gym, clean up your diet, get the budget together. Finally start that project you've been circling for months. Good plan. Solid plan. The same plan you had 7 months ago, and 14 months before that, and the time before that, when you downloaded 3 apps and bought a planner with the leather cover and lasted until February. I'm not here to give you a better plan. I need you to stop. Not because you shouldn't fix your life, because the order you're about to do it in is the exact reason you'll be back here in 6 months, clicking another video with the same title, feeling that same sinking recognition in your chest. I've been here before. Let me describe your last year and you tell me if I'm wrong. Something triggered it. A birthday, a breakup, a video, a morning where you looked in the mirror and thought, enough. And for about 2, maybe 3 weeks, it was real. You were up early. You were eating clean. You were showing up. People noticed. You noticed. Then around week 4, life got loud again. The work thing. The family thing. The one night you skipped that turned into 2. And you didn't quit. That's the part nobody talks about. You didn't dramatically quit. You just drifted. Monday became the restart date. Monday didn't come. Or it came and you started again, smaller this time, quieter, with less conviction. And somewhere around month 3, you stopped thinking about the changes entirely, not because you forgot, because remembering hurt more than ignoring. That's not a motivation problem. That's a pattern. And a pattern has a source. The change that finally made me see the source wasn't the gym, wasn't meditation, wasn't waking up at 5. It was drinking more water. I'm serious. I bought a $35 water bottle with time markers on the side, the kind that says 8 a.m., good morning, and 12 p.m., keep going, in that motivational font. Filled it every night. Put it on the nightstand like a little shrine to self-improvement. For 11 days, I drank the water. Day 12, I noticed the bottle was still full at 4 in the afternoon. Day 13, I didn't fill it. Day 16, it was sitting on the kitchen counter, dry, with a thin ring of mineral residue where the water used to be. A $35 monument to the fact that I couldn't sustain drinking water. Not training for a marathon, not building a business, drinking, water. And that's when the shame turned into something useful, curiosity. Because if the problem was willpower, how much willpower does water require? None. The problem wasn't the habit. The problem was whatever was running underneath it. Your life right now is running on an operating mode. Not a mindset. A mode. Think of it like your phone's battery saver. When your phone drops to 8%, it doesn't let you run all your apps. It cuts the screen brightness, kills background processes, throttles performance. The phone isn't broken. It's in survival mode. Your life has the same thing. And most people trying to fix their lives are in survival mode trying to run high-performance apps. Doesn't matter how good the app is. The mode won't let it run. Before you fix a single thing, you need to check which mode you're in, because the mode decides whether your fix survives or gets shut down in 19 days. Think about every change you've tried in the last 12 months. Maybe you tried waking up earlier, lasted 3 weeks, tried budgeting, lasted a month, started a workout routine, made it to week 5, tried journaling, 2 weeks, side project, abandoned by day 10. And you looked at each of those as a separate failure. 5 different areas, 5 different problems, 5 different fixes needed. But what if they all collapsed for the same reason? Not lack of discipline. Not lack of information. The same invisible operating mode was running underneath every single one, and it terminated each attempt through the exact same mechanism. Different symptoms, same disease. The self-improvement industry is organized by topic. There's fitness, YouTube. Finance, YouTube. Productivity, YouTube. Mindset YouTube. Each one gives you solid advice for its lane. But nobody asks the question that actually matters. What mode is the person in when they try to apply this advice? It's like a hospital where cardiology, pulmonology, and neurology all treat you separately. And nobody runs a blood test. The blood test would show all three problems share one cause. But the hospital isn't built to look at that layer. Neither is YouTube. There are three operating modes that account for almost every self-improvement collapse. And each one kills your changes through a different mechanism. Reactive survival mode starves your changes of resources before they can root. Comparison. Paralysis sends you fixing the wrong things in the wrong order. And identity patchwork makes every change feel like wearing a costume until you take it off and go back to normal. One of these is running your life right now. You probably already suspect which one. Let me make it certain. Reactive survival mode. Here's what it feels like from the inside. You wake up, not to an alarm you set with intention, but to whatever time your body gave up trying to sleep. Before your feet hit the floor, you're already behind. There are texts you didn't answer last night. An email came in at 11:47 p.m. and it's been sitting in your chest since you saw the notification. Not panic exactly, more like someone gently placed a book on your sternum while you were sleeping and it's still there. You grab your phone before your eyes are fully open. One eye squinted against the brightness, thumb already moving before your brain has a single thought that isn't a notification. Something you were supposed to do yesterday that didn't get done. You haven't brushed your teeth and your brain is already in triage. Sorting, prioritizing, putting out the loudest fire first. Breakfast? Whatever's fast. You eat it standing up at the counter or in the car. Not because you chose to, because sitting down to eat would require a decision about what to eat and where to sit, and you're already 4 decisions deep before you've put on shoes. By 10 in the morning, you've made 40 reactive decisions and 0 proactive ones. This isn't a bad day. This is your default day. And in this mode, this permanent state of responding to the next thing, where exactly is the new habit supposed to live? Where does the budget review go? Where does the creative project fit? They don't fit. Reactive survival mode doesn't have empty slots. Every slot is already claimed by the next small emergency. This isn't laziness. It's your life running on 12% battery. Permanently. At 12%, your phone still works. You can make calls, send texts, check maps. But try to open a resource-heavy app, a video editor, a game, anything that needs sustained processing power, and the system throttles it or kills it. Not because the app is bad. Because the operating system decided it's non-essential. Your brain does the exact same thing. Self-improvement requires surplus cognitive resources, planning energy, willpower reserves, emotional bandwidth for discomfort. Reactive survival mode has 0 surplus. Every resource is allocated to the next incoming demand. When you try to add a new habit or a financial plan, your brain doesn't reject it because you're lazy. It classifies it as non-essential and kills the process to keep survival operations running. You're not failing at the changes. The mode is preventing them from executing. Want to know if you're in this mode right now? One question. In the last 7 days, name one thing you did that wasn't a response to someone else's request, a deadline, a notification, or a problem that appeared. One proactive action on your own timeline. If you're struggling to name even one, if every action last week was triggered by something external, that's reactive survival mode. And every plan you build while in it will be eaten alive by the next text, the next email, the next, "Hey, can you handle this real quick?" Okay, but what about the times you did have energy? What about those stretches where life calmed down enough that you actually had margin, and you still picked the wrong thing to fix? That's mode number 2. And this one stings differently. It's 11:20 p.m. You should be asleep. Instead, You're scrolling through someone's Instagram or watching a YouTube video of a person your age who already has what you want: the apartment, the physique, the career momentum, the relationship that looks effortless from 20 seconds of footage. And something happens in your head that isn't jealousy. It's colder than jealousy. It's a calculation. Your brain starts building a gap analysis in real time. They have this, I don't. They wake up at 5, I don't. They meal prep, I don't. They post content on a schedule, I don't. And by 11:45, without noticing, you've built an entire self-improvement plan, not based on what your life actually needs, but based on what their life looks like from the outside. You've reverse-engineered somebody else's highlight reel into your to-do list. And tomorrow morning, you'll start executing a plan designed for a person who doesn't exist, because the version of them you're copying doesn't exist either. Here's what most people miss about comparison. The problem isn't that it makes you feel bad. Feeling bad passes. The problem is that comparison redirects your repair efforts to the wrong targets. If your actual broken area is emotional regulation, you react explosively, you shut down under stress, you avoid hard conversations. But the person you're comparing to is a fitness influencer. You'll spend 6 months optimizing your workout routine while the thing actually wrecking your relationships and your career goes completely untouched. You'll get fitter and still feel broken, because you were never broken in the gym. You were broken in the conversation you keep avoiding. Comparison doesn't just steal your peace. It steals your diagnostic accuracy. It makes you fix the visible, photogenic problems while the real damage stays hidden and keeps spreading. Here's how you catch it. Take the last self-improvement goal you set, the specific change. Now trace it backwards. Where did that goal come from? Did you look at your own life and identify a genuine pain point, something that was actually causing friction, day after day, in your experience? Or did you see someone else doing something and feel the gap? Be honest with yourself for 10 seconds. Did you decide to wake up at 5 a.m. because your mornings were genuinely costing you something? Or because you watched a video where a successful person said they wake up at 5? Did you start meal prepping because your nutrition was causing real problems? Or because everyone on your feed seemed to be doing it? If more than half your current improvements trace back to someone else's life, rather than a real problem in yours, you're in comparison paralysis. You're renovating rooms that don't need renovating while there's a leaking pipe in the basement flooding the house. Now, the third mode. And this is the one that explains the thing that keeps you up at night. The one that explains why, even when you do have the energy, and you are fixing the right things, it still collapses in 3 weeks. Every single time. There's a moment in every improvement attempt that nobody talks about. It's not the day you skip. It's not the streak breaking. It's the morning, usually around week 3 or 4, when you wake up and realize you've already stopped. Not today. You stopped days ago. You just didn't notice. The gym bag is back in the closet. The journal is under a stack of mail. The meal prep containers are clean and empty in the cabinet. And the strangest part? You don't feel devastated. You feel relieved, like taking off tight shoes at the end of a long day. Like you can finally breathe again. That relief is the most terrifying signal in self-improvement, because it means the changes weren't building a new life. They were a costume, and you just took it off. And that relief isn't laziness. It's your identity exhaling after 3 weeks of holding its breath. This is identity patchwork. Every change you've made, the morning routine, the budget, the workout plan, was a tile. Beautiful tile. Well chosen. Properly installed. But the wall behind it, your self-concept, the running narrative your brain maintains about who you are, never changed. And it's been quietly rejecting the tiles since day one. Not through dramatic sabotage, through something worse. The quiet return to default. Your identity has a gravitational center. Every behavior that doesn't match it gets slowly, invisibly, pulled back. 3 weeks is roughly how long you can hold a behavior that contradicts your identity before gravity wins. If this is hitting you right now, if something just clicked, tell me in the comments, seriously, which mode? That honesty helps me know what to make next. Now see how the three connect. Imagine a doctor who treats every symptom separately. Headaches, painkillers, fatigue, stimulants, blurred vision, glasses, weight loss, nutrition plan. The patient follows every prescription perfectly. And gets worse, because the headaches, fatigue, blurred vision, and weight loss are all symptoms of undiagnosed diabetes. Treating each symptom individually doesn't just fail to fix the problem. It delays the real diagnosis by creating the illusion of progress. You feel like you're being treated. You're not. You're being managed. That's what your self-improvement has been. The gym routine was a painkiller. The morning routine was a stimulant. The budgeting app was glasses. They addressed what's visible. But the operating mode underneath, the reactive survival, the comparison paralysis, the identity patchwork, that's the undiagnosed condition. And it keeps generating new symptoms faster than you can treat them. Reactive survival mode kept your battery at 12%. So every change ran on emergency power, and the system killed it the moment life got loud. Comparison paralysis pointed your repairs at the wrong targets. So even when you had energy, you were fixing rooms that weren't broken while real damage spread. And identity patchwork, the deepest layer, ensured that even the changes that were right, aimed at the right areas, with enough energy, still collapsed in 3 weeks, because you were installing them on an identity that hadn't been updated to hold them. 3 modes, 3 mechanisms, 1 loop. The loop you've been living in. You were never broken. You were running maintenance software on top of an operating system that wasn't designed to support it. And nobody told you to check the operating system first. I'm not recapping. You know the 3 modes. What you need is the check. A 5-minute mode. Check you run before your next attempt to change anything. Not after it fails. Before it starts. 3 questions. 1 per mode. The reactivity audit. Look at your last 7 days. Count the proactive actions you took. Things you initiated on your timeline that weren't responses to requests, deadlines, or emergencies. If you can count them on one hand, or can't count any, you're in reactive survival mode. Your first move isn't a new habit. Your first move is creating one 30-minute block per day that's untouchable. No phone, no email, no requests. You don't even need to do something productive in it at first. You just need to prove to your nervous system that non-reactive time is safe. Once your brain stops treating empty time as a threat, you have the surplus to build on. Not before. The origin trace. Take the top 3 changes you want to make right now. For each one, finish this sentence. I want this because, now you're wise. Now check. Does the reason trace back to your lived pain or to someone else's visible success? If more than one traces back to something you saw rather than something you felt, pause those. They're not yours yet. Spend 1 week running a pain inventory instead. Every time something in your actual daily life causes genuine frustration, friction, or suffering, write it down. After 7 days, you'll have a repair list built from your life, not somebody else's. Fix from that list. The changes will feel different. They'll feel necessary instead of aspirational. Necessary changes survive. Aspirational ones become costumes. The identity mirror. For the change that matters most to you right now, finish this sentence with brutal honesty. I am someone who, Kaido, not who you want to be, who you currently believe you are in this area. If what comes out contradicts the change, I'm someone who starts things and quits. I'm someone who talks about change but doesn't follow through. That sentence is your operating system, and the change you're about to make is a tile on a rotten wall. Before installing the habit, the routine, the plan, update the sentence. Not with an affirmation, with evidence. One small, undeniable action per week that makes the old sentence slightly less true. Do that until the sentence shifts on its own. Then install the change. It'll hold, because it's landing on a surface that can actually support it. Every self-improvement video you've ever watched assumed you were in the right mode to receive the advice. None of them checked. This one checked. And now you have a tool to check yourself every time before every attempt for the rest of your life. Stop fixing symptoms. Diagnose the mode. Exit the mode. Then fix. The order was always the answer. And now you know the order. You were never bad at changing. You were running the right software on the wrong operating system. Reactive mode starved your changes. Comparison mode misdirected them. Identity patchwork rejected them. The changes were never the problem. The mode was. Check the mode first. Everything else follows. Don't say all three. Pick the mode that made your stomach drop. The one where you thought, that's been running my life for years and I never saw it. Name the mode. Name the change it killed. Comparison paralysis killed my morning routine because I didn't actually need one. I just saw a guy on YouTube who had one. That level of honesty. That's the first mode check you'll ever run. And one mode check is worth more than 100 motivational videos you'll watch and never act on. Subscribe if you want content that diagnoses the operating system, not just the apps.